with that, we now turn to today's historical topic with Cole. Cole?
Hi,
Hi.
people. So I'd like to introduce our topic of this week. I going back to finishing talking about last week's topic and recapping that World War II ended with Japan ending their war in China and Russia and America both reaching Berlin and causing the collapse of Germany. Uh, what we kind of hinted, what Drew and I hinted at the end of last episode was the Chinese Civil War, which we kind of maybe talked about a little bit, but not enough to where you understand it. To where you'd understand it. So I think that's what we're gonna cover here for like the next 10 minutes. The Chinese Civil War. It's not gonna take really long, honestly. But, Matt, do you want to start us off about the beginning of the Chinese Civil War? About
Sure.
like what it was?
Okay, so I can't remember any specific dates, but the overall like reason.
Here, I can pull up when it started for you.
Yeah. Thank you. And tell me, so because I can't get
The
it.
Chinese Civil War started in early August of
1927.
1927.
And then it ended in 1949.
It's a whole 22 years.
Pretty much. So it was.
You gotta remember, yeah, but Aiden, you gotta remember, it took a pause during World War II.
Right.
Yeah.
Aside
Nothing
from the
happened
pause,
during
it
World
was over the course of 22 years.
So it was a conflict. So the war. It was a conflict between.
Really, it was a conflict.
Yeah, I'm gonna punch you. I'm gonna. It was a conflict between the nationalists and the communists.
And they wanted to punch each other.
Pretty much, they hate each
they
other
did.
a lot.
But
There's
they didn't want to punch each other and cause a nuclear war, though. That's kind of the Cold War in general, but not really the Chinese Civil War.
and fighting continued all the way to like what was it, like 1937 when the I think it was like the Sino-Japanese War. Second Sino-Japanese War when they
They're right.
invaded Manchuria, and at that when that happened, the communist and nationalists set aside their differences and united to fight against Japan. But soon that was during World War II, and once that was the Second World War was over, the China went right back to fighting to the Civil War. It's kind of like the basics of it.
So I have a question. So
Yeah.
World War II started in the late 1930s, right? It was like 1930,
39 is
39.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It says on here they ended in 1937.
right, which is what Matt just said, because when Japan invaded China.
Yeah, because the war between China and Japan lasted 2 years before
World War II.
World War II.
It's kind of like Aiden. Remember, before we even talked about Poland, how Germany was using their blitzkrieg tactics to take over a bunch of other countries, but it never started the Second World War. This is a similar thing. Japan invades China, but it doesn't cause the Second World War. But it's large enough to where China and the communists and the Democrats put aside their differences to create the Chinese United Front.
That's what it was called. Chinese United Front.
Yes, the Chinese United Front.
Yeah.
Our boy Mao. Mao.
Oh my god. Last year in my world studies class, Tristan and I made so much jokes about Mao Zedong.
Mao.
I
In freshman year, everybody would go around calling him, I gotta appease Daddy Mao.
that is disgusting.
We're recording now, but that's fine.
My cat doesn't go meow. It goes Mao.
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 Communist cats do.
Mao
Okay.
Zedong.
So basically, after all of the years of fighting, the main point is that the communists end up winning. is the real major point that. But here's the
Yeah.
part that confuses everybody: is that the Democratic side flees to Taiwan.
Yeah.
Which
So that
which is still a conflict to this day.
Mhm.
But it was agreed upon that they would be able to stay on that island, and they would be able to live as a democratic China. But
Yeah.
that is clearly not going really well.
yeah.
Um,
There's. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Your point
Wait.
was so important.
there is contempt between China and Taiwan about China believes that Taiwan is a part of Chinese territory. Taiwan says they're independent. So there's major tension between the two countries, and pretty much just after the end of the Chinese Civil War, the nationalists fled to Taiwan and they settled there, and that's where it's been ever since. And this what's interesting is that the Chinese Civil War led partially to the Korean War. China supported I can't know where to start. Do you want to begin with like the Korean War?
What the Chinese supported the communist and
Or how it started, who was
Kim Il Sung?
how did it start? Was Korea one country on the peninsula, or was it just?
No, they are not united.
Okay.
They are not united. There is a north and a south, separated by the 38th parallel.
That was okay.
Which is a very famous
Was
line.
that in 1945?
What?
When Korea broke up, was that in 1945?
Korea wasn't a country by itself before then. It was owned by Japan.
Oh yeah, it was occupied by Japan, and then it was occupied by the Soviet Union when.
And then the south
During
was
1940.
occupied by the U.S.
Oh, so. Okay.
So the Soviets are going to put Kim Il Sung, a communist dictator, as the leader of North Korea, who's also supported by Mao. Mao wins the Chinese Civil War, while the South is still being supported by the U.S. and the democratic nations of the world. By the way, interesting fact: Emperor Hirohito of Japan actually stayed the leader of Japan after World War II. Fascist emperor. If you didn't know, he actually stayed leader. He was the only
surprising.
Axis leader that wasn't killed, basically.
That's super surprising.
I think he was emperor till 89.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Did they refer to him as emperor after the Second World War?
I think so. Let me look.
Oh,
Until his death in 1989. So yeah, he was emperor all the way until he died in 1989. What a cool guy. But I know this week's history topic wasn't as long, but that's copping into the Korean War, and that's gonna be a long topic just on its own, dedicated for its own week. So I think this is a good spot to end. Wants to do the end whatever end thingy scripts.
You can.
Say goodbye to everybody. Kinda bye, get out of here, kind of thing.
Adios.
Adios. We'll see you next week with continuation of the Korean War.
Hey Matt, before the viewers click off, I want to show you something.
Can't see you.